So I'm happy to introduce one of the what I find most exciting moments of this conference. We have a group of students in second year master in technical communication here at the Université de Paris. And they, as part of their curriculum, they're writing a research article on technical communication. And so these articles are published on the website where you see the conference program called Hypothèse. And each year they have this task of defining a subject and finding something that is, well, first interesting for them to explore, but also interesting for the technical community to get more background research on. Patricia is showing all of the articles that have been published since 2013 now, and so now I will leave the floor to, I think one of the students is going to share the screen, and so each group of students is going to present their subject and let you know how they are looking for you to contribute to their research. So Diane, I think the floor is yours.
Yes, so I'm going to share my screen. I think it's loading. So can everybody see it? Yes, thank you.
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. So first group.
Sorry, my webcam was off. Hello, my name is Maya. My group is going to conduct scientific research about gamification in e-learning. Can you go on the next slide, please? Thank you. We see that it's more and more present in e-learning platforms and learning applications, and there's an increasing demand for digital learning in general. And we know that gamification can help learners keep motivated. Next slide, please. Gamification is the inclusion of game mechanisms in learning. And the goal is to engage the learner and to improve the user experience by making it more fun. Next slide. It's important because it makes the learning experience easier for everybody. And it's very much connected to today's era of new technologies and video games. Next slide, please. So there are clear advantages to gamification, but we'll also wonder if there's a dark side to it, even though it seems very virtuous. We are going to wonder if it's designed to create an addiction, if it can make the users feel guilty when they give up or when they don't succeed, and also if the inclusion of too many games can distract the user from their initial goal of learning. And thank you for listening to this short presentation. To conduct our research, we're going to conduct interviews, and we're looking for participants who have been involved in using e-learning modules or application, whether it was successful or not. So if you have any insights to share with us, or just if you're interested in this topic, please reach out to us on this email address that we're sharing on the screen. We're also going to share it in the chat if it's easier for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Group 1. So take those address and those, and if you feel like you have something to say, please contact the students as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Second group.
Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Casey, and together with Anaïs Tanzé and Marielle Péché, we're working on a research article on cognitive psychology, more specifically on using cognitive psychology as a technical writing tool. Next slide, please. So we've noticed that a lot of documentation can be quite difficult to read. For instance, we regularly see documentation with walls of text, lack of illustration, back and forth between chapters, and those are great ways of losing your reader. Next slide, please. Thanks. So what is cognitive psychology? Cognitive psychology studies internal mental processes, or what goes on inside your head, to put it simply. These mental processes are grouped into 7 principles: language, memory, attention, learning, thinking, perception, and problem solving. We feel like applying the knowledge gathered on memory, perception, and attention would allow for clearer, more efficient documentation. And on top of that, said documentation would also be much more accessible and better adapted to neurodiversity. Next slide, please. With all that in mind, we asked ourselves, do technical writers know about the principles of cognitive psychology? And if so, do they use that knowledge in their work? Next slide, please. So far, we've started reading about Gestalt principles of perception. For example, the drawing of the panda on the left is not finished, but our mind completes the image. And we've also been looking into the theories of selective attention, which show that the best way to retain attention is to use information that's minimal and straight to the point. Next slide, please. So we're currently working on a survey on the relationship or lack thereof between technical writing and cognitive psychology, and we'd really appreciate the input of technical writers on the matter. So if you're interested in answering our survey, please send an email at this address, and thank you all very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Megan, for this excellent presentation. Let me tell you that we have a huge department of psychology now in Université de Paris, and I know quite a lot of people. So if you want me to contact them and to help you to make acquaintance and to ask for help, please do.
Oh, sure, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, yes, thank you very much. So group 3, you have the floor.
Yes, can you hear me? Can you see me well?
We can, Sami, go on.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. So usually functional, yet never perfect. The ergonomic challenges of setting up the documentation user for success. So after speaking with a wide panel of experts, colleagues, and users in our respective workplaces, a common complaint kept coming up. It's that on average, documentation websites are not optimal. Even though they first appear as the ideal response to static PDF documentation, they now present their own challenges. So they are bloated, unfocused, and sometimes hard to navigate. So in a way, they are user hostile. Next slide, please. So companies have different strategies to address these issues with features such as feedback forms, contextual help, notifications, or even chatbots. But these nice to haves are usually provide a sensation of ease of use more than proper help. So these issues actually fall under the realm of ergonomy, which is the study of interactions between the human and its work tools, its work methods, and its work environment. So documentation portals present unique ergonomic challenges that we wish to explore. We believe that no matter what the quality of the documentation is, if it's not properly presented and easy to access, users won't make full use of it. Next slide, please. So we wish to explore several questions, some of which being what should be on a company's document homepage, what role does taxonomy play in ergonomy, for instance, or even what is the ideal amount of clicks to reach a topic on a website, for instance. So through methodic research, we wish to explore how form and function should cooperate to provide a truly ergonomic experience. Next slide, please. So we will very soon be conducting a small survey and later on a case study. So if you would like to take part in either or both, please reach us at the email address that you can see on the screen and in the chat. Thank you for listening and to our presentation.
Thank you very much, Sami, for this excellent topic of ergonomics. Thank you very much. So we are now giving the floor to the 4th group. Am I right?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My group chose to focus on creativity in technical writing, and so we asked the question, is there room for creativity in technical writing? Next slide, please. Thank you. The reason we thought about this subject is because we realized our experiences as technical writing interns are very different. For instance, we are a group of 4, and 2 of us happen to work on strictly standardized content, which might appear to leave no room for creativity. On the other hand, the rest of us work with much more flexibility. And this nuance has led us to observe that the technical communication field is growing quickly, which brings many changes to the way we work. And so we thought this subject might interest the tech writing community, as it may help you boost your career opportunities and find ways to challenge your work routine.
In the general language, creativity refers to the use of imagination to create something. In the workplace, this translates to someone who challenges the existing standards in place. Maybe the first thing you think of when you hear the word creativity is good design skills or the ability to create good visual content, for instance. But this isn't what creativity is all about. For tech writers in particular, creativity could also be about the way you present the information, being able to experiment with your writing to some extent, and many other aspects that we would like to explore. So to carry out this research project, we will use existing research papers. We will also conduct surveys and interviews with professionals such as yourselves. Next slide, please. Thank you. So if you would like to get involved or share your experience with us, please contact us at creativity.ctm@gmail.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very interesting subject, also about creativity and technical writing. So do we have a 5th group? Yes, we have.
It's us. So hello everyone. So we're a team of 3, and Cindy Long is working in cybersecurity, Ines is working in defense, and I'm working in a defense company as well. And in our respective companies, the 3 of us have met the issue of having to update documentation. And the reason for that can vary. The product we're working on is either frequently modified, sometimes deleted, because the company software authorizations might change, or even because peer review could reveal a lot of things to be changed. And having that in mind, we have decided to write our article on the stress of constantly updating your work and what it implies for technical writers. So we have decided to focus on the 3 following axes. First, how easily can a technical writer update the documentation? Because it may be a challenge to know exactly what is to be modified and how to add new information to what already exists. Secondly, we think that keeping our documentation updated throughout modification can prevent product misuse, danger, and even customer dissatisfaction sometimes. And doing so can be complicated since documenting a product usually comes last in a project. And finally, from a psychological point of view, working on a document that is going to be quickly outdated can be discouraging, and it may even be difficult to receive criticism or to delete a work we have spent a lot of time on. So we are going to conduct a survey among technical writers in order to have the experience of several technical writers who have been working as technical writers for a long time and for a short time, to see what are the differences. And we are also going to search for loss aversion bias articles, which are a psychology subject, and we think we are going to find a lot of things about it. So if you want to contact us, please write us an email at the email appearing on the screen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have 2 groups coming also. So next group, please.
Good morning, everyone. With my group, we are going to conduct research on implementing disruptive innovations in technical documentation. Next slide, please. The research topic is prompted by the observation that despite the wide variety of technical writing tools and user technical documentation, most of the time is delivered in the PDF file. So in the next slide, we are going to see that a question arises, which is, can end user technical documentation follow the trend of digital transformation and be made available in alternative formats? This question is relevant for three main reasons. The first is that we think that implementing disruptive innovations could help companies be more competitive in the digital transformation race. And secondly, implementing disruptive innovations could help companies comply with changing user behaviors and thereby improve user experience. And finally, we believe that implementing disruptive innovations could be a path to explore in order to improve accessibility. We have a three-step approach to this question. Next slide, please. The first is investigating the reasons for the long-lasting success of end-user technical documentation in the PDF format. The second is analyzing changing user behavior in order to determine the kind of innovation that's to be implemented. And the third approach, next slide, please, is to discuss with experts in order to explore to what extent disruptive innovations can be implemented to technical documentation. Please feel free to contact us. We will greatly appreciate to have an exchange of ideas on the topic. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Corina. It was very interesting also. So you want to shake everyone so they won't write in a PDF form. I think we have a last group.
Yes.
Thank you.
So hello, we are Melissa Stocky and Anthony Dossa. We are both working in the e-learning field for our apprenticeship. As our research topic, we therefore decided to deal with the reward cycle in e-learning. Next slide, please. While working for our respective companies, we noticed that e-learning modules using frequent quizzes and immediate feedbacks tend to have better results and feedback from the clients. Thus, we deducted that it results from the reward circle.
Next slide, please. The reward cycle is a cerebral phenomenon releasing dopamine, the feel-good hormone, as a result of a reward. It has been scientifically proven that learning is facilitated by this cycle. Good answers and positive feedback being the reward. A good answer and negative feedback create a wrong answer and negative feedback create a sense of frustration and leads to the learner to retake the quiz in order to receive the feedback, reward. But as any other tool, this system must be used wisely. Next slide, please. We are therefore wondering how to optimally use the reward cycle. It is interesting to study for several reasons. E-learning modules became more and more popular among companies for both mandatory and optional trainings, due to the ongoing crisis. Many of the staff members might not appreciate this form of training due to their lack of computer skills or the lack of attractivity to the subject. Using the reward cycle through quizzes and feedback can shorten the learning period and make the experience more enjoyable. A balance must be found between an underwhelming level of difficulty that can be perceived as infantilizing and an unreasonable level of difficulty, making the reward impossible to obtain. Next slide, please.
To find this balance, we plan to proceed in 3 steps. First, deepen our research based on scientific articles to establish different levels of difficulty for a second step, that is giving 3 modules to a panel and analyzing which group got the best results on the first try. These modules will be followed by a survey for each participant that we will analyze during our 3rd step. Next slide, please. Thank you for your attention. Feel free to email us at the address currently on your screen that will also be shared on the chat. Your contribution will be greatly appreciated.
Thank you very much, students. We are very proud of you, as every single year you have so many ideas, in fact, and thank you very much. So we can ask questions from the audience. Do you have questions for one group or another? Please feel free to ask. Yes, we are very impressed by the students and the subjects, and I think they are up-to-date subjects, and I think you might be interested in those subjects. So feel free in the chat. All of them have noted the link to contact them, so feel free to take that and to write that down and to contact them to answer the questions.
Actually, on top of that, I want to say that they get 20 minutes to present 7 subjects. It's a very short amount of time per group, and I think you've done a fantastic job of conveying the gist of your subject to everybody. Well done.
Yes, this is my fault. Mary is accusing me of giving the floor to students just for 2 minutes. I know, but I don't want to, well, I want to be short because I want a lot of reactions from the audience also. So Oana said, all 7 groups are launching great topics to discuss. It's hard to decide, all well structured. Where do we find recordings for all groups and the themes they're presented? So we will do a sum up of what they are going to present, of course, on our website, hypothèse.org, which is called, Marie will have please, could you please write down the Comtech P7 plus hypothèse.org so people can follow us, please, Marie. And you will have all information on our research site, and if we can, if I can, it's not if I can. So Marie, yes, thank you very much for putting down the site, the URL of the site. You will find everything there, and also recordings of the sessions will be there if it's not too heavy, if they are not too heavy to put. Or on what did you want to do, Mary? You wanted to put them on YouTube?
We'll put them on YouTube, yeah.
Yes, so that will be on YouTube.
So there's a question from Hélène. Hello, Hélène. I noticed that the student presentations use lots of visual cues and little text, as is expected of presentations. In enterprise documentation, we cannot always use as much visual material. Is this observation reflected in the students' experience in their respective companies?
Good question. Marie, you answer that.
No, this is a question for students.
Yes, a question to students, exactly.
Who wants to answer that question? Don't be shy, because it's an excellent question.
So if I can rephrase it, do you see visual cues being used more than text in your companies where you
do you see obstacles to using visual material in TechDoc in your companies, rather in that way around, you have to write more text than you would like for any reason.
Come on, students, don't be shy.
I can try to hello.
I work in a cybersecurity company, and we put very few visuals in our documentation because there's too many languages in which the interface is. So it might be difficult to always update the new visuals in the different languages. So this is the difficulty.
I was expecting this answer, or this kind of answer.
You are the IKEA, the documentation IKEA, Cindy. You may have another answer to give to Oana. Oana, where do you come from?
Hello. Hi, I'm from Romania, Bucharest. I work at Oracle as a technical writer. I have faced a lot of challenges in my experience. I've worked as a content writer as well. I asked you about those topics because I think they are all very, very interesting, and I have encountered a lot of situations and use cases for each of the topics presented by the group, and that's why I wanted to know more, because it's hard to decide which one to follow more. I can find myself in all the topics. I don't know what else to add regarding the way of how you can improve documentation and update documents with different languages. In one of the companies I worked for, we used to have a tool that allowed us to store images and also to use machine translated services. And we used to have help from people that were experienced with different languages, and they were working in the same pace as for the English version of our documentation. That's one way to keep up with all different languages for the same documentation, including images. I don't know, you can ask me something else if you wish. I am happy to share from my experience.
Mulțumesc, doamna, et bienvenue de Roumanie. It's excellent to see people from another part of the Europe, and you're welcome.
Je vous remercie aussi.
Merci beaucoup à vous. So, do we have a last question? Andrew Clark said, great for companies looking for technical writer, the new generation of skill for technical writing beyond are something that companies are looking for more and more. Keep up the good work and keep learning. Yes, and Andrew is one of the keystone of instructors for this group. So thank you very much for Andrew for giving that feedback. So